morning and a very warm welcome to you. Welcome back to the Misfits Racing League. This is Season 6 Tier 3, live from the Bahrain circuit. It's going to be a hot streak of tracks, by the way, with, tracks like Bahrain, Saudi Arabia and Australia all in a row, all of those hot countries coming right after one another. So yeah, welcome back. My name is Frostbreath, and as you have seen, we've had a few issues with the bitrate. For some reason, OBS decided that the nearest server to connect to upload all of the streaming stuff was somewhere on the moon or Mars or even further away. So I had decided to manually set it to the nearest server, which is, for me at least, in Amsterdam. And for some reason, OBS decided that was not the nearest server at all. So let's just pray it will now stay stable, and yeah, that's all I can say, really. It's the best I can do at the moment. I'm hoping it will stay stable. Now, I saw a few frames dropping there just a moment ago. So this is your calendar. 18 races right now instead of the 15 from last season. And we do right here have the drivers for Tier 3. A few familiar names, of course. Grenade Goran returning this time for Tier 3, as there's no more Tier 4 left in the Misfits Racing League. So he, technically moved up one. Four-door sedan, another familiar name in this tier. XTSP, PW Jones, and plenty of new names as well. All fit within their new and awesome teams. So let's hope things will be epic. Let's quickly switch to the game. Here we are then. Do tell me if the stream is any laggy again. I might have another fix in mind. But it's been a while since we streamed, and this is my new computer. So normally you'd say that would work in our favor. And so far, though, it seems especially the bitrate is letting us down a little bit. It looks like it's being restored to its former glory. Once again, we've already started on track, by the way. Several drivers already made their way out of pit lane. So yeah, let's see what happens. All good and well here on Bahrain, the dusty, dry, sandy track. And I will make sure that the game sounds will be lowered a little bit. Thank you for all the feedback. All these settings had been reset since my change to the new PC. So, things need to be changed. I've turned down the volume, so hopefully it's better now. If it's not, please let me know. I've got the chat open so I can see and read everything you say. And yeah, should be fine. So anyway, one of the first guys out on track. I've got to check so many things at the moment, so if it's just a bit chaotic, then I do apologize in advance. As I said, it's been a while, and let's hope things will be good. So the man who is the first one to try and set a hot lap here is this man here, Grenade Goran, who almost won the championship last season round in Tier 4, only to lose out to Polypunk by not that many points. Especially the last race in Brazil was quite exciting, where there were still 3 drivers fighting for the title. So yeah, let's see what he can do in this tier. With many new names, for example, Ayub Khan, MBS, Max O'Connor, so many names I personally haven't seen before, mixed up with the familiar names, the likes of PW Jones, Wyfoon, back row, I believe Daniel I've seen before, I'm quite sure. So yes, Grenade Goran once again in the Haas team. He really wants to claim a championship in that car. So let's see what he can do out on track here tonight. Literally tonight, by the way, because it's also dark on track at the moment. Of course, his sector will be purple here, a 1 minute 5.660. No invalidation so far, but as the viewers who see me commentating more often know, I am pretty good at jinxing drivers, so he might just invalidate it right now on this final corner. Thankfully he doesn't, so here he comes then. Let's see what he can do across the line, opening up with a 27.2, that's already quite rapid. Following closely behind him there is Ayrton Torlashi, now going quite a bit faster by about 0.3 of a second at the 26.906. So a good start for both of these drivers, followed by Daniel, who's even faster with a 26.7, so rapidly already these times are moving down. Yes, we all remember the Super Noodle Bagel jinx. He's not here. He probably doesn't want to be jinxed again. Completely understandable. I'm quite excited to see so many people on the stream already. It's quite an honor to be able to commentate the opening race of Season 6. It's going to be so great because, you know, there's 18 races this season. In the meanwhile, several other drivers putting in their lap times. For example, Reflexes setting in 26.7 as well, only 3/100ths of a second slower than Daniel, followed by Jasko in the Alfa Romeo there with a 26.889, currently third in the row. The one who is slowest as we speak is Sam with a 28.5, and impressively, that's nearly a 2-second difference by the man who's gone fastest at the moment. Max O'Connor now already setting the benchmark to a 26.6. So the times are dropping down quite fast. To imagine that the first time set was a 27.2, we are already at 6/10 quicker than the first time of the night. So either the track is evolving very quickly or the drivers are evolving very quickly. Personally, I think it's a combination of both. The Bahrain track, always a very interesting one, especially coming up now to this part here, particularly personally my most challenging part here, the downhill bit with the sharp turn to the left, where it's very easy to lock up and mess up your lap time by quite a lot. You can easily lose half a second or more on that particular bit alone. And of course now comes another part here by the end of sector 2. This right-hander here, take it too tight and you will spin, as we nearly see Max O'Connor invalidating this lap here. But I do think, yeah, he's currently charging his ERS, so this is probably his in lap. Several drivers already heading back into the pit lane, as we see at Alfa Romeo going slowly, moving out of the way of everybody. The only driver not having set a lap time being Alex Game F Sim. I'm just going to call him Alex for the sake of easiness. So let's have a little look to this man here on the medium tires. Speaking of which, let's see what tires everybody's on. Only 4 drivers having the, you know what, to set the time on the medium tires there. That being Ayub Khan, XTXP and Backrow. Unfortunately, Backrow is currently living up to his name with those tires, being in, well, the back row of the grid. So here it is then, the Mercedes of Alex. Let's see what he can do. A 28.5 indeed isn't bad for mediums, but it is, if you look in the list, it's not ideal if you want to start P17 just because you want to start in the mediums. That's not going to work out. So let's see what this man can do then on those same set of tires. In the final sector now, the second to last straight. And well, final corner comes up and let's see what he can do. I can already see Ayub Khan and XTXP switching to the soft tires. Already they realize it's not working out for them. And it's also not working out for Alex Game Sim, as he's still stuck in that last position. It's really nice to see that everybody's here. I do believe only one reserve is in tonight. That would be MBS in the McLaren, as the actual driver for that seed is not present tonight. I'm gonna have to have a quick look who the actual man is. That would be Relax, from what I can read. For some reason the quality of the text is pretty poor in OBS preview. Yes! Noel, you did get it right this season. Well done. No frostbite or frost ham or frost fingers or, you know, any kind of that, or frost breath with a capital B. Yes, you got it correctly. Well done, thank you. So anyway, several drivers already starting their second run, including Ayrton here. Mr. Tolashi there already starting his hot lap, currently sitting P6 and going to try again. You're going to already see many drivers out on their next out lap with just over 9.5 minutes remaining. And yes, you do get me for tier 2 as well, Big Turbina. Whoa, that's going really wide. I believe it. He went behind the text there, behind the timesheet. But I think he went seriously wide there, way off the track, from as far as I could have seen there. Mr. Tolashi here. But he didn't invalidate his lap, so I think he lost more time than he gained there on that particular bit there. So the game decided not to invalidate it. So he's still going. Let's see where that will bring him. By the end of Sector 2 we can see whether or not he's improving. For some reason my game decided to go really quiet because I actually pressed the switch on my headset. So let's see here then. He's slowing down. He's given up. He's going to try again. He probably realized he went off too far and is going to have to go again in his Ferrari car. Switching to the host of this lobby. Daniel here in his Aston Martin, currently sitting on the front row, about 4/100ths of a second behind the current man in pole position, provisional pole position there, Max O'Connor. Daniel trying to beat that time. He only needs 4/100ths of a second, and already he's exactly that amount faster in the first sector alone. How does he do that? That's very impressive. Yes, my English is a bit dorky at times. Please do forgive me for that. I'm doing this at 10 p.m. after a long day of work, so if I do sometimes struggle a little bit with my words, it's because of that. So anyway, a first purple sector for Daniel. Let's see what he can do in the second sector there then. He is now 3/10ths quicker. We are getting closer and closer to that 1 minute 25 benchmark, which would be quite epic to reach here in Tier 3, which means Tier 2 and Tier 1 are going to be even faster than that. Currently, Grenade Gore on them. There he is, the man who lost the championship in Tier 4 last season, now back on the front row, all the way down from way down the top 10. But Daniel quickly going past that with more than 2/10ths of a second quicker at the moment, so well done. Yeah, I can see several frames dropping at the moment. Let's hope it will stay like that. It's a bit iffy at the moment, the connection to the upload server. Let's hope that will improve by tomorrow. I'll try and pick another Amsterdam server to make sure that will not happen again. In the meanwhile, many other drivers have already improved their time. Ayub Khan improved to a 26.4, now sitting on the front row after doing a lap on the medium tires first. And Hecko DK now checking in at the third position. Never mind, fourth position, as Pixon now goes quicker than he did with a 26.4 as well, only 3/100ths of a second slower. It's very, very tight at the top. The top, let's see, 10 separated by about 4/10ths of a second. Yeah, don't worry. I'm doing perfectly fine commentating on myself by myself, by the way. I'm somewhat used to it, and I personally prefer it. So then, less than 6 minutes remaining now, and many drivers already having set in their second attempt for a hot lap. No more medium tires, indeed. Axel Kirby, thank you for noticing that. Everybody's gonna have to go on the softs, except of course for anybody starting outside of the top 10 is gonna have a chance on the medium tires. Let's see what Hecko will do. He had to slow down there a little bit. Yes, he is going in as we see a Ferrari, I believe the wrong way round. Yes, it was correctly then the first spin of the season made by Ayrton Torlaschi. On the final straight, he decided to turn his car the other way round. Still a bit of lag going on, some frame dropping, as I see 8%, which is quite a lot. I'm not used to that, which is unfortunate. Well, we're gonna have to live with it. We can't switch anymore. We did what we could. So then the reserve driver, MBS, sitting in third place, definitely making a great first impression there for a reserve. Yes, the spin counter has gone up to 1. Let's see how many spins we can see tonight. Interested to know, by the way, who your man in pole position for Tier 3 will be on this track. Currently, Daniel looking really strong. He still got more than a 10th over the man in P2. Ayub Khan there. So yeah. Everybody's going to go back in pit lane, the track is calming down, and everybody, literally everybody, is preparing themselves for the final run, I'm afraid. So it might become a little bit messy, once those cars are starting to head out on the track. Speaking of settings, I can actually quickly have a little look at my audio settings and see the audio simulation quality is on medium. So yeah, that shouldn't be the cause at the moment of the frames dropping. I think connection to the server is a bit messy. Good point there, Waffle. Medium to soft is possible, but I've seen last season that it can lead to punctures, and we had seen in Tier 4 at least 2 drivers getting a puncture because of that strategy. So it is a stretch, a very, very long stretch. Might be worth it, might be not worth it. Yes, another thing to note there, Big Turbina, thank you for bringing that one up. The safety car spawn rate, so to say, has been reduced to, well, reduced. As many drivers are preparing themselves now for the final chance of getting their car in pole position. Let's see who can actually do that. I know as a commentator I would not place my bets on anyone, because either I'll jinx them or I'll look like one of those commentators who is being subjective instead of objective, and I'm trying to be as objective as I possibly can. The screen will freeze from time to time, yes, unfortunately it's not something I can fix anymore. It's a whole lot better than it was before the stream even properly started. So yeah. Maybe I should reduce the frame rate. I mean the, you know what, the bit rate a little bit to, well, let's say 5K. It might just help. Because for some reason, sometimes the bit rate goes up way above 6,000, even though I set the benchmark limit to 6,000 there. So I'm not entirely sure why OBS decides to do that. It just isn't cooperating tonight at all. And I don't know why that is. Anyway. Ayub Khan already having started his hot lap, but he is currently 1/10 up. Might have to do with the fact that he's encountered traffic and he's invalidated his lap. Fortunately for him, he's gone out pretty early, so there might be another chance of a run there. The thing is, I was able to stream in 1080p easily on my previous computer, so I don't know why it currently decides to make a problem. It's not the CPU, it's definitely not the GPU. Both of them are pretty immensely powerful on my new PC. So it's just the upload being stupid. Let's see then what the reserve driver MBS here can do as he approaches the end of the first sector. This man might be the surprise of the night, actually. There he is then. He's about 1/10 slower. We've seen several drivers already being slower on their final attempt. One of them being Ayub. Yeah, the Dutch internet might be already sleeping indeed. Definitely some improvement needed here from MBS. If he wants to claim that pole position. Daniel also on his run there. Couldn't see, unfortunately, how much faster he was in Sector 1. So we're gonna have to wait a while to see what he can do in the second sector. Approaching that end then, let's see. And there we have it then, surprise, surprise, a new name coming out on top there. Ian in his Red Bull now going fastest overall, interesting. And in the meanwhile, Daniel has invalidated his lap. He will not be able to get another run in because the time for qualifying is up. MBS didn't improve. He's coming back in. So, wow, okay. That's another name there. Jan in the Red Bull, currently the provisional pole position man. But some other drivers are still on their way. While a Alfa Romeo there was currently the other way around. So that's the second spin you can add to your list. I think that was Jasko. Yes, Jasko in fact has lost his front wing, so no final run for him then there. That's unfortunate. He will stay in P7 given the fact that nobody else improves their lap time, of course. Pixon currently not improving, I think, as we speak. No purples at least. He is, though, only about 2/10 of pole position. So well, let's see what Pixon can do. And then round the final corner he comes onto the main straight, DRS on and cross the line. It is the front row, only 4/100ths of a second of pole position, and Daniel is no longer on the front row. So I believe that's about it, unless somebody else is still trying to set a lap time. No, back row is already invalidated, and Waifun, yes, still coming across the line, and still in P13 in his AlphaTauri. So there we have it then, qualifying's over. It's a pretty tight one at the top. Just look at the times between P1 and P3. That's less than a tenth separating the top three. That's quite close, so that's very promising for the race coming up soon. Yeah, looking good. And I think my bitrate has restored itself since I put it down to 5K. Let me know if you notice that as well, if there's any less dropped frames. But so far it looks... oh, I just jinxed it, never mind. I just jinxed. It decides that it's no longer uploading anymore right now. It's absolutely terrible. Just waiting for Ian to get his car back into the pit lane. And he'll be quite happy about this one. I'm not sure if he expected to be in pole position, but it is very interesting. So there we have it then. Ian in pole position, Pixon in P2, and Daniel in third place. And in a moment I will give you guys the entire list. Here we are then. As said, Ian pole position, Pixon second, Daniel in third, Max O'Connor in the McLaren in P4, Ayub then down to P5, Hecko DK in sixth, Grenade Goran P7, MBS P8, Jesco P9, and Sam P10. As for the rest, here you go. XTXP then closing off this tier in last, and by quite a margin actually. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Maybe you couldn't get a very quick lap in there because he's more than 2/10 of P19. So that's quite a difference. We all know 2/10 is really nothing, but we all know as well that in Formula 1 even a millisecond can make the difference. So here we are then, of course, no rain in Bahrain, despite the word literally being in the country's name. Absolutely not gonna happen this night. You could just call this country Bar Dry or something like that. But that's a terrible joke, I will not make that again, sorry. So, tire strategy. We've already seen the option for medium to soft or soft to medium, but as I said, that's a stretch, that's a risk. I'm not entirely sure we want to take that risk. I can already tell you that several people have taken the risk and it didn't work out, but there's also been somebody who took the risk for which it did work out. So, let's see what they do. I think the safe option, of course, would be soft to hard. Or maybe even medium to hard. Although I think that might be pretty slow. So let's see what they've picked. Here we are. Let's quickly switch to some interesting details. The tires, here we are. And there we have it. Everybody below the top 10 starting on the mediums, except back row, who's starting on the hard tires. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, if anything, Ghazi, the Bahrain will definitely not have rain. So then, everybody warming up their tires in the desert heat. The cooling desert, actually, since the sun has already set here in the Bahrain racetrack. Let me know your predictions for the winner of tonight. Will it be the man in pole position, or will anybody behind him make an epic comeback? I've seen MBS showing some impressions there in the chat. Might he be the man to pull off a surprise? Is it the almost tier 4 champion Grenade Goran in the Haas who will drive up back to the front? We all know that qualifying isn't his strongest point. Will it be Daniel, who had that pole position in his hands for so long until a certain Red Bull decided otherwise? And then a Mercedes stealing his front row as well in Fytron. Or will it be XTXP? Yes, Kirby, why not? Last to first challenge. If that happens, that would be quite epic, as we already see several problems happening here. Alex spinning his Mercedes, currently in P17, and now has to finish the formation lap in last place. Of course, he doesn't really want to do that, so he'll just go ahead and move back up to his position where he's supposed to be. And then, of course, there is this man, the only man in the hard tires. I wonder how he feels when he looks around him, seeing that everybody, literally everybody, is not starting on that tire. So let's see what happens there. The grid is preparing. The season is about to get underway. That is the racing, of course. 29 laps in Bahrain. 29 laps of potential epic racing with many things that might just happen here. The grid is ready for it. The lights are going on. 3, 4, 5, 2 at the same time. And off we go then. Looks like a strong start for the pole sitter. And an even better start for Daniels, already side by side with Fytron and already ahead of them. In fact, he's already going to claim the lead. He is in the lead now, in fact. There you are then, Daniel, from P3 all the way up to P1. And it's a pretty bad start there for Fytron, falling down to P4. Grenade Goran having an epic start, moving up to 5th place. But look here, man. It is the man in the Aston Martin, Daniel, for now claiming the lead. At least several drivers tussling for a position in the back. Jasko, for example, here fighting with Max O'Connor, trying to stay in that 6th place. As Max O'Connor, who actually started a bit higher up there, has lost several places already. But look at Daniel. What a start. This man is already pulling a gap to the Red Bull there. So maybe it was just a fluke then for Ian. Let's hope for his sake that he can keep up. But he's already being pressurized by Ayub Khan in the AlphaTauri. The battle for P2 then already on its way. And we can already see then Ayrton here, Torlashi being under pressure from Sam, who's actually lost positions there, as well as MBS, who's fallen down to 14th place. Not a great start for him. I do think I see some front wing damage on his right. Yes, there it is. Some damage there. I see a Williams going off there. Might be some other damage for that car too. Hecko DK, yes, definitely damage to the front wing of this car. And another slew of cars behind them switching position. Look at this battle going on here as the Williams is trying to do everything not to hold up his teammate, especially PW Jones, who is now already moved past there. And so that means many drivers having to enter the pit lane, as in 3 drivers, both McLarens in fact, so that's not going to work out great for them. But so far, the one who's claimed the lead is Daniel. And here we are then, the position swaps. XTXP already up to 15th place, having quite a good start there. Of course, a bit lucky there with 4 drivers going into the pit lane. Back row then apparently having to make a pit stop there as well for a fresh wing. So yeah, wow, interesting start there. And look at this. Grenade Goran made up 3 places since the race start, and Fytron losing 3 of them since that start as well. So the field then settling down a little bit, but I can see definitely some fighting going on here with Reflexes versus Alex, who's trying to hold himself into P11, but they're already having quite a gap to the points, about 2 seconds then, all the way to P10 and Waifoon. So this slew of cars then, this train of cars in fact, fighting for all those pointless, as in no points positions. But of course any position gain is 1, and PW Jones knows it. He's gonna go past Reflexes there, and Reflexes immediately loses 2 positions, 1 to the Williams and 1 to his teammate and 1 to XTXP. It looks like, yes, there's front wing damage to the left side there, so probably had some contact there. He's gonna have to make a pit stop as well. Daniel then setting the fastest lap, but also getting a penalty there. I'm not entirely sure, I didn't see the penalty. Was it a track limit penalty? I completely missed that one, watching the race very closely there. But now then, he is starting to get pressurized by the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri. It's very, very close in the top 3. Grenade Goran just missing out on that DRS, but he is closing in as well. So the fight for the lead is definitely raging on, at least for a while now. But look like that 5 cars having front wing damage in the first 2 laps of the race, which means Reflexes is now going to be stuck with that group who's fallen down the order. Let's see, how long can Daniel withstand the pressure of the Red Bull and AlphaTauri behind him, as well as the Haas and the Mercedes. Well, look at this, the DRS train goes all the way down to 6th place. So a fight for P1 is between Daniel, Ian, Ayub Khan, Grenade Goran, Pixon and Jasko, as Sam has now properly overtaken Ayrton and goes into P7, trying to follow his teammate and see what he can do. But look at the gap, 3.8 seconds already separates P6 and P7. Let's have a look at the penalty, which penalty it is. This is a 3-second penalty, so it looks like in his enthusiasm, Daniel has gotten himself to a bit of early trouble there with only 3 laps completed. He's in trouble, and there he goes then. The fight for the lead is properly on. Ian is trying to reclaim that lead, and off he goes into turn 1, well ahead, and back into leading position immediately then. Ayub Khan is trying to close the gap to the Aston Martin, and it looks like his exit is just slightly better there. So let's see what he can do, but it looks like Daniel is using his ERS. Speaking of which, let's turn on the telemetry to see their batteries. Ayub has already drained his battery all the way down to 30%, Grenade Goran as well, but Daniel is actually looking like he hangs on to quite a bit of battery there, as well as Ian, who's been saving a lot as well. So the top 2 looking healthy on batteries, everybody behind them not as much. Speaking of which, Pixon looks like he's having a healthy battery, so let's see what he can do with that. He did lose 3 positions since race start. He had a front row start in his hands and he completely lost it there. Before half a lap was even over, he was already down to 4th place. And is now trying to keep Jasko behind him, while at the same time trying to put Grenade Goran under pressure, who's made up many places there, 3 already, to get himself very, very close to podium positions. So then 3 seconds time penalty for Daniel, which would currently move him down to 6th place if the race were to end like this, which of course is extremely unlikely. And he might have to hope he will stay within DRS range, so he at least can take off some of the pressure of Ayub. But he is getting ever closer, but not close enough to have an actual look at him there. But look, he's going to have to go back to P7. There is Ayrton Torlashi trying to go down the inside, but Sam braking really late and somehow making the turn still. Hangs on to that position there. So for now, Ayrton will have to stick behind, and immediately having Wyfoon behind him in P9. Trying to take that place from him. Very, very close here, both of them. CRB in the meanwhile trying to keep up with them as well on his medium tires. Let's switch back to those tires and see how old they are. Of course, all of them pretty much the same age. Those soft tires will, I think, start to fall off around lap 10-ish, more or less, lap 8, lap 9. So, yeah, there's still a bit of life left in those tires. They're about halfway through. Those medium tires, of course, will last much longer. Back to the lead of the race. Ian then reclaimed his position at the front of the field. Daniel hunting him down still while suffering from that 3-second penalty. Unfortunately for him, those kind of penalties will not get removed during a pit stop. And I saw him getting quite a bit off track there once again. So he's really pushing very hard because he knows there's somebody behind who'd like to get that 2nd place. And we have our first retirement of the season. It is Lavi Fasol, who is out of the race, and a safety car has been deployed, ladies and gentlemen. The first safety car of the season happens in Tier 3. A Ferrari has left the race, crashed out at the famous, infamous, in fact, corner, where you can easily lose the car, and Lavi Fasol has managed to do so. He falls victim to that horrible, scary corner. It is indeed reduced, but you know, apparently the crash was hard enough for a safety car to be deployed. It does neutralize the race, but it also opens up several interesting strategic possibilities. Because what will the top 6 do? They are the only guys left on the medium tires. On the soft tires. The rest has already gone for a pit stop, changing to the hards. CRB, for example, XTXP as well, despite being on the mediums, he decided to go in. So yeah, I think it's likely that everybody will go hards until the end, but I'm not entirely sure if every medium driver will do the same. Their tires are still pretty okay in terms of wear, at least. They'll at least last like, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe even 8 laps. If they stretch it, they might even last 10 laps properly. And they might go into the softs later, which will make them really quick by the end. It does seem the bitrate is now actually quite stable, now that I have the ability to have a little look at it. No more drop frames. And now, mark my words, it will start dropping now. You'll always see when I say it doesn't happen, it happens. Anyway, in they come then. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't jinx it, Bito. The top 6, all of them obviously are coming in for a switch of tires, which is most likely going to be the... No! Okay. I was about to say, which is most likely going to be the hard tire. And the first guy I'm watching is switching to the mediums. Well, in fact, more of them are switching to the mediums, so that's going to be a two-stopper. They do not want the hard tires. The only one from the tops... Well, this is not Daniel, that's for sure. The only one in the top 6 switching... What the hell is going on? I want to see Daniel's car, not the... Okay, fine. There you go. There he is. The only one in the top 6 switching to the hard tires is the man with the penalty. Which, if you think about it, makes sense, doesn't it? He's the only one with the penalty, the only one switching to the hards. He is now certain that everybody around him is going to stop again. So maybe he's taking that opportunity to hope to pull a big gap once these guys are going to pit. Mediums can go to the end. That's 22 laps. 22 laps, you're gonna have to stretch them. I don't know if you heard me during the start of the race, but I've seen punctures with that strategy. I wouldn't do it if I were them. I would not do a one-stop from soft to mediums this early. But that's just my experience, and it's not even my own experience. It's what I've seen during a Tier 4 race on this league specifically. So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Not at all. So the race being neutralized, both McLarens now far behind the rest. They will be able to catch up as the safety car is not coming in at the end of this lap. But it will come in at the end of the next lap, that's for sure. Let me think a little bit here. Backrow was the one who started on the hard tires. He's already switched to the mediums due to a broken front wing. So that strategy for sure didn't work out. I'm very, very curious about the strategies. Let's see if they can do it, Maxime. I would be impressed if they manage to get these tires last until the end without too much wear. And with still some pace on them at least. Indeed, the grid is mixed. The top 3 is the only part of the grid that hasn't pitted, so that means PW Jones is now leading the race, followed by Alex and 4-door sedan. Though they make up the top 3 at the moment, all on 7-lap old mediums, and I think they're going to try and stretch it until they can switch to the soft tires, which means they'll have to make them last at least, I'd say, 10 more laps. Yeah, Bito, I completely agree with you on that one. Yeah, they did want track position, didn't they, X-Kirby? Yeah, good point there. The guys behind are really quick. Ian leading that group, in fact. Daniel and P5 at the moment. They are in a net P1 and P2 right now. So their order has pretty much stayed the same. Only 3 more. Oh dear, what's happened? Oh god, no! Daniel, what are you doing? Smash the DHL sign! Why don't you? Oh god! It's not his day. an early penalty, and he's lost his car in the hairpin and smashed the sign of DHL. I think the sponsors will have some harsh words with this man. Safety car in this lap as well. He's fallen down to 13th place, so forgive you for saying, but I do think he can forget a race win here, unless something else happens, of course. So yeah, there we are then. PW Jones leading the way. Ian, no more having pressure from Daniel behind him. Probably having a breath of relief, a sigh of relief there. Ayub Khan following him still though. He was pretty fast as well. PW Jones waiting for the great and best moment to start. He's gonna get as close to the line as he possibly can, most likely. And there he goes, then off he goes. But Alex was quite awake. It looks like it's gonna be a drag race until turn 1. Let's see what they can do. 4-door sedan already pressurized by the net race leader, but no way he can go in there. He's gonna stay safe behind them for now, which immediately means Ayub Khan is on his inside, nearly getting pushed off the track, and Ayub Khan now taking 4th place from Ian, and he is gonna lead the charge toward the top 3 on their older medium tires. Wow, that's a touch there from Ian, who actually broke a little bit too late there. Let's hope his front wing isn't damaged, but that's not great news for him whatsoever. It looks like he's still able to come through with the rest, so no damage done to his front wing. Then there's Jesko is having a bit of an issue here with Pixon, who's on faster tires at the moment. I think Jesko realizes he's going to have to play the long bay game, but of course you wouldn't be a racing driver if you had a little fight at least, as there's immediately quite a bit of a queue there down into turn 7. Or I believe that's turn 7. I'm terrible with turn numbers, by the way. Just saying in between there. As Hacko DK is having a bit of a fight there with CRB for P13. But for now then, the top 3 remains the same as we speak. And in fact, I'm trying to pull away from Ayub Khan there. Hanging on in 4th place. Ian pressurizing him all he can. Lost out to him in turn 1 after backing out from attacking 4-door sedan. That was his undoing. And now he's lost the lead. The technical lead, that is, of course. Grenade Goran there, now also trying to chase them down. Currently in a net 3rd position after Daniel took himself out of the winner's contention there. And now getting pressurized by Wyfoon, who's got a fresher, well actually slightly less fresh, but faster tires on the mediums. And he's going to have a look in his inside into turn 1, side by side. He's got the inside line there, but Daniel will have it here. And that means Wyfoon will have to back out at least for now. Trying to attack the Aston Martin, and immediately getting pressurized by Hacko DK there to lose his position, but for now he can hold on as the top 10 basically remains the same for at least for now. Max O'Connor in the meanwhile trying to attack back row here for 16th place. Well, in a place actually where you normally wouldn't be able to do it, but look at that. Both McLarens are having a go at the Alfa Romeo now. Look at that then. Back row trying to fight both of them off, but MBS for now will have to hold back for a little bit, as all of them are coming down into the famous or infamous hairpin. At least this one will be cursed for a certain man in the Aston Martin. I will not give any hints, but he does have a penalty. Alex then is starting to lose connection to the race leader. PW Jones is able to pull away for now, as Ayub Khan is now starting to pile on pressure on the Alpine driver, as we have a yellow flag, and I can see Wyfoon, who spun out there at the start of sector 3, lost his car there, maybe a little bit of a touch. It is quite chaotic behind Alex here, trying to fight for position. Everybody is still within DRS range of one another, all the way up till XTXP, who's just outside of that range, getting pressurized by Max O'Connor for P14. Anyway, DRS is now online. Alex will not have it, Sedan will have it, this man will have it as well. Khan will try and have a go on him as soon as he can. He knows he wants to get ahead of them as fast as he possibly can to create a gap between himself and Ian, who's still mounting that pressure. In the meanwhile, Pixon is starting to knock on Grenade Goran's door there, from like, please hurry up, I want to get going and I want to charge for the leader of this race. He wants to have a go for sure, and he sees that Grenade Goran is on hard tires, which means he will play the long bay, and Pixon knows that he has to hurry up if he wants to make the most of these medium tires, especially if he decides it's going to be a two-stopper. Anyway, back into 4th place there. We saw them a bit ahead on the screen, but since both of them have DRS, neither Ayub nor Sedan will have to engage into a battle for now. But it is serious. Yeah, sorry, Deserve. Unfortunately, I do not control the ads. It's what it is. I hate them too. Whoa, braking quite late there, trying to get as close as he possibly can to the Alpine, knowing his tires are fresher. He knows that this has to be the opportunity. Only 2/10 behind, using his DRS, as four-door sedan isn't using his DRS there, and he knows he can't fight back too hard, as the fresher tires will easily win it from those older medium tires. Now up into third place, Ayub Khan now has a car in between himself and his rival in the Red Bull. And Ian knows he's gonna have to try and get past quickly there, already almost into the gearbox of the Alpine ahead of him, who's having a bit of an oversteering moment there, but still manages to stay ahead for the time being. He knows he can't stay there forever, and already Ayub Khan being with Alex there, he's gonna have to go soon. Alex still cannot get close enough to PW Jones to benefit from the DRS, so that means he's gonna have to defend on skills and ERS and power and the like alone. No DRS to help him out there whatsoever. So will he go immediately in this turn, or will he wait it out until the main straight? Oh, look at that! PW Jones must have made a mistake, because somehow Alex made up half a second on one straight, and Ian is now past four-door sedan. Now the job is up to Grenade Goran to get past him as quick as he can. For now, he's still very close, and look at that! Pixon, immensely close to Grenade Goran. He's really telling him and giving him the hurry up. XTXP in the meanwhile moving up to P14, and Daniel's falling down the order again. Man, this guy is not... Oh dear, contact with MPS. He tried to brake for... I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but he definitely... It looked like a brake check. I'm quite sure he didn't mean that anyway, but that's absolutely awful for him. And there he goes into the pit lane, and I think that is a retirement for that man. As Hako DK now moves into 10th position. MBS forced to pit as well for a new set of tires and the front wing, of course, as PW Jones has now lost the lead to Ayub Khan, who's now leading this Grand Prix. That's the net lead he wanted, and now there's two cars in between himself and his nearest rival, who's struggling somewhat to keep up with Alex. Daniel, though, is not giving up this race just yet. He's switched tires and he's going to try again. I admire him for that. Usually people just go in there and give up, but not Daniel. Despite spinning his car at the safety car, despite driving through a DHL sign, he is still there. And MBS is a victim of that. And there he goes then, Ian now past Alex and now charging down for PW Jones. He's still... Yeah, he's definitely losing connection to Ayub, who's got very lucky with all the DRSs and stuff. And Grenade Goran, in the meanwhile, is still stuck behind four-door sedan. His hard tires are not turning on just yet, and Pixon might just start to lose a bit of patience there. He's having a look on his inside. He really wants to get past. Jesko and Sam are also having a look. Look at Sam getting really close to Jesko there. And he's going to have to try and have a go there now on the main straight. Is he close enough? I think he is, but I think Jesko is using a lot of power there, trying to stay ahead, and that means Sam will not have an opportunity there just yet, as Alex is now fighting with four-door sedan, which might just benefit Grenade Goran to get past both of them at once. Four-door sedan, though, is having a really good chance and really good opportunity now to slip into fourth position, but he does not go yet. He doesn't want to take that much risk. I think he could have made it had he braked just late enough. But Alex decided to close the door, which is of course only fair enough. But look at that then. Pixon's patience has run out. He's trying to go around the outside just before the hairpin starts, and that puts him into trouble because Jesko immediately mixes himself into the battle along with Sam. And look at this, it's a 5, no, it's a 6-car battle with Hako now also getting himself mixed up into this fight. Everybody's getting pushed right, left, right, center, up and down. But so far no contact, which I can only commend them for. That's great racing from all of these drivers. But look at this now, Max O'Connor trying to make the most of that situation and getting into P10, now into the points. That means Hako is now lost out, trying to get into 9th place, now fallen down to 11th. But my goodness, so much things are happening right now. Daniel has spun out in Sector 2, or he's let MBS pass. I don't know what's happening there, but it's race over for him pretty much. And Ian still not getting past PW Jones. He's... Oh god, no! And that's a crash grenade. Goran out on the main straight. That must have been contact from that brilliant fight going on there. But that's grenade Goran out in this race. That's the second retirement. No safety car, no virtual safety car either. And plenty of overtakes going on. There's so much going on. You would nearly lose track. Look at this, for example. It's almost 3 wide between all of these drivers here. Jesko trying to claim P6 at the moment, with Grenade Goran now out of the way. He's going to have a go and getting his chance there. And Alex is slowly starting to lose out on his older tires. 4-door sedan then now losing out as well. His tires are starting to get wary as well. Hacko still trying to get himself mixed into the battle. But look at Max O'Connor. He was driving last place when the safety car came in, and there he is now back into 7th place. That's a heroic drive from the McLaren driver. I know you people in the chat were a bit desperate and starting to lose hope for McLaren, but there he is back into 7th place. As Alex has now lost the position to Sam, and Jesko already up into 4th place. Of course, Alex wouldn't be a racing driver without giving up this fight. But he knows he's going to have to back down at some point, as the tires of Sam are still fresher, and it's still, though, side by side, he's not giving an inch. Which means Max O'Connor, in the meantime, is now moving up to 6th position by getting a bit of a tow there from the Haas. And now they're at the final corner, all of them come. Sam will still have DRS, which is fortunate for him, despite being quite far away from the Alfa Romeo behind him. Jesko, in the meanwhile, is going to have a very close go at Ian. And meanwhile, Ian, though, is finally, at long last, getting past PW Jones, as Max O'Connor is having a fight here with Sam for P5. I'm not sure how I managed to keep up with all of these fights, but somehow I managed to suit well there. Good God, I'm almost out of breath here, but it doesn't matter because there's so much awesome stuff happening. Look at this then. The McLaren from P19, now in 5th place in about 8 laps-ish. Very, very, very impressive. Ayrton Torlasci, in the meanwhile, in the pit lane. No great day for Ferrari here. But my God, looks like things are quite down a little bit, except for Hacko, who wants to get past the Mercedes of Alex. He's getting the inside line, but Alex, having a brilliant late break there, manages to stay ahead, at least for now, which means they're going to have to go side by side in this part of the track. They do it cleanly. There's some very, very clean racing going on at this tier, which is great. Absolutely fantastic to see. Alex then letting his teammate past because his tires are fresher and he knows it. No big deal for him there. He doesn't mind losing a position to his teammate at the moment. But that does pressurize him for 9th place. 4-door sedan. One of those top 3 guys fallen down to 10th position and still not going to the pit lane. He is definitely stretching it for those soft tires. Several guys are having a look at one another. Where can I get past and how will I do that? As Hacko is still fighting. He's gone a bit too wide there, braking a bit too late, which means Pixon is now ahead of the Williams. Good God, my voice. And I still have to commentate another tier tomorrow. Interesting. Thumbs up. Lovely. I'm gonna be fine, don't worry, I'll be fine. I'm used to talking a lot. Whew, a bit of a breather, I hope, for my sake. So then, here's how it stands. Ayub Khan having the biggest luck in terms of getting past those on older tires, now leading the race. 5.3 seconds he managed to cram in between himself and the next car behind Ian in P2. PW Jones somehow on the 16 lap all medium tires hanging on P3 still. This guy's got some pace. A load of pace. I would love to drink some water, but I'm afraid I will miss some action here because so much going on. I don't want to miss anything. I want to make sure everything is broadcasted to you as excitingly as possible, if that's even a word. Look at this though, back row. Getting back into the top 10, fighting four-door sedan for that exact position, but for now the Alpine hanging on. Never mind that, scratch that, CRB is getting past the Alpine and immediately trying to pressurize the Alfa Romeo. Look at this side by side, still no contact there. Very clean racing from all three of these drivers. And yes, this tier is incredibly promising in terms of clean driving, great stuff. Look at this man. I think he's overlooked quite a bit, but PW Jones hanging on with those ancient tires. It's a joy to see. He's only now lost DRS, which means he's only now getting pressurized by these guys. He will have those soft tires soon, so he'll be blasting through the field anytime after this one. I think he's gonna go and come in either this lap or next lap to change to those soft tires. Yes, he will most likely drop to P14, I think even P15. After this round of pit stop for him. But it's a commendable effort here. Look at this. Can only have loads of respect. And there he is then, as predicted, in he comes. Drains his battery into the pit lane then. Gotta applaud this man. Fantastic job. His teammate still going. Still fighting with Pixon. I think the Mercedes are really not happy with this Williams fighting hard. And looks like more guys are coming into the pit. Sam switching to the medium, surprisingly. Alex also switching to the softs, as he was one of those guys in the top 3. But look at this man. Coming all the way from the back of the grid. I know I'm not supposed to give opinions, but this man should definitely be a contender for driver of the day. Because his effort is absolutely insane. Look at him go. And now he's pressurizing Jasko for a podium position all the way from P18 or 19. Wow. Yes, Sam's gone in the mediums. I'm not entirely sure why he would do that. Probably a safe option. To have some pace near the end of the race. I think. PW Jones in 12 seconds behind P13. 12, sorry. So he's gonna have to drive his tires off. Oh, well, that's entirely possible, Luda, that I sound like Max Verstappen because both of us are Dutch. But other than that, there's absolutely no similarities between him and me. He's far younger than I am, for one. He's also speaking with a different Dutch accent than I do. But I'm definitely not Max Verstappen, no, not at all. There he comes then, Max O'Connor, the hero of the evening here, into the podiums he goes. Wow. He almost make it look like it's too easy for him. He just breezes past every single car, and now he's gonna drive towards Ian and Ayub. Speaking of Ian, he's starting to slightly close the gap to Ayub. It's only 5 seconds though. It was 5.3 about 4 laps ago, so yeah, actually never mind, that's not a lot of difference. Still though, very impressive. It's very slowly, Victor Bine is very slowly catching. CRB is gone out of the session. Probably some issues, that's not good. He's now being driven by an AI. I'm not sure what the AI level is. But I'm quite sure that, oh god, he's getting touched by Reflexes, who is not very much paying attention there, not realizing that the AI is a bit slow through that corner. He nearly took him out there, good god. There he goes, then into P7 he goes. The mediums are gonna die. Yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, we saw some epic fighting going on there with Wyfoon, who spun a few laps after the safety car, already back into P8. Getting a bit of a fight there with the AI of CRB actually. He was letting everybody pass. He's like, nah, I'm not having any fights for my human driver. Screw that. Even with his DRS, I'm not gonna bother. Hacko, probably the last guy to go for a pit stop here. I think the others are going to stretch their mediums all the way till the end. Which means they'll be very old once the race is over. Alex then, setting the fastest race lap, trying to close the gap. And there we are then, PW Jones back in the top 10, which is very nice for him in fact. As he started, let's see here, P16 in fact. So his strategy of staying out during the safety car on his mediums is definitely working out for him. 7.4 seconds now to CRB. And I haven't seen if he's rejoined or not. Judging from the pace, I think he has rejoined. Yes, he's definitely back in action. CRB back in the league. Back in the lobby. He's definitely still in the league. Don't worry about that. Trying to get back into P8. Has lost quite a few positions there. Wyfoon, therefore, back into 7th place. Let's go to Max O'Connor, who's lost his podium position and is now getting pressurized by Pixon. Looks like the hard tires are now starting to come into play. We can see that here as Ian can see the gap behind him melt away because the hard tires are now the advantage. Max O'Connor knows this. He's having a look, but he's not having a go. And Amiwa is going to have to be careful behind him, as Pixon really likes to have that position. Wyfoon in the meanwhile fighting with reflexes for 6th place. He succeeds in getting ahead. CRB back in the car. Now up to P8. Back row now setting the fastest lap of the race, but still hanging around in P14. Not great for him. Hacko now in 12th position. And there's several things once again going on, but this is an interesting fight here between 3 cars. A fight for the final podium position. Jasko, while trying to close the gap, is going to have to keep watching his rear mirrors to make sure none of them are having a go at him, which would cause him to lose time. Ooh. Pixon having a bit of an oversteering moment there after the hairpin, causing him to lose a bit of time. But other than that, no issues for the Mercedes driver. And it's still anybody's game for the 3rd position and maybe later on even 2nd place. Yep, definitely agree with you on that one, Deekserve. If that is the correct pronunciation of your name. Anyway, Max O'Connor, despite his tires getting older and older, and the hard tires getting more and more into their rhythm, is still hanging on to 4th place. We can see Wyfoon pitting for some reason. He thinks his tires will not make it. He's forced to pit for softs. He was in P6 and he's losing all of these positions, which means PW Jones is now in 9th place, 4.3 seconds to P8. After driving around an immensely great stint in 3rd place with the old medium tires, he's now going for more points. So plenty of contenders for driver of the day. This man as well, coming back from last place pretty much after the safety car restart and his disastrous race start, having to replace his front wing almost onto the podium positions. He's trying to hang on, but the gap is slowly getting bigger. I'm not sure if he can manage to hang on there long enough. And 1.4 seconds now between 3rd and 2nd place. It is getting tighter and tighter. Another 4/10 gone within 3/4 of a lap. It's not much anymore, and it's only a matter of, well, minutes, I guess, until DRS will go open for the Alfa Romeo driver. His hard tires, maybe that strategy choice was the proper one. And Ian is doing everything he can to close the gap to the race leader. Ayub still in a league of his own at the moment, on his way to win the first Tier 3 race. In fact, the first MRL Season 6 race, in fact. That would be quite epic and quite an achievement for any driver to do so. Low battery then for Jasko. As reflexes, oh dear, that's definitely a touch there, I think at least, or it was lag between CRB and reflexes as he's trying to get past him into 6th position, but CRB then getting back at him and regaining that place. But was there contact? It was quite hard to see. We switched to them just at the moment that something happened. It might have been lag, but it might have been real contact as well. I'm also happy to report that setting my bitrate to 5K has solved the issue of the dropped frames for real now. No more jinxing it. I can safely say it's solved. So that's great. Fantastic news. Yeah, he's definitely showed some good pace, Ayrton has. Sometimes things will not go your way whatsoever. The Williams driver, PW Jones, has now reached XTXP on the older hard tires, 17 laps old versus 4 lap old soft tires, which is a mighty difference. Look at the difference of grip there in that corner. He's really going to go for it. Behind him is his teammate, who's also an even fresher soft tire, so both Williams drivers will be able to climb up to P6 if they're lucky. In the meanwhile, look at these guys so side by side in turn 1, Max O'Connor and Pixon trying to fight there for P4, which is good news for Jesko, who can now climb further ahead, trying to chase down Ian for second place. Still side by side they go, and into the next set of corners here. And Max O'Connor trying to go around the long way, but that means that's a penalty by cutting quite a bit of the track there. That's his third and final warning, which now means he's got that 3-second penalty for the end of the race, which is bad news for the McLaren driver. Fortunately for him though, CRB is 11 seconds behind. He did a max, yes, and the game punished him for it. That means now Pixon can put the pressure on Jesko, who, frankly, is not closing the gap to Ian anymore. So Ian then probably saved his tires and making a final push now with only 4 laps to go in this race. 4.2 seconds separating himself from the race leader. And if Ayub gets a penalty, that means it's only 1.4 seconds as we speak. So there's still everything to play for. The race is definitely not won by Ayub until, in fact, he crosses the finish line. Yes, very, very few track limits penalties there, only 3, which is indeed very impressive. And I like to see that happening, because that means the racing is equal. And that's the best thing. Another 3 seconds though for Daniels, we say that, so I jinxed it again. Can we get a jinx counter somewhere in the chat, by the way? Things that Frosty jinxed. And meanwhile, CRB and Reflexes are still fighting for that position. And CRB somehow is still hanging for P6. That being said, Reflexes does have older tires. 3 laps older. Those 22 lap old hard tires are not helping him out whatsoever. But meanwhile, look at both of the Williams cars. They've pretty much caught up to one another, and PW Jones is ready to pounce and get back onto 6th place. Look at this. The fresh tires are definitely going to work in his favor. Can he do a 2-in-1? Because that would be awesome to see. I can definitely show the positions change. Let's have a little look here. There we are. Maybe that will help you deciding driver of the day. XTXP is definitely a contender as well, as he's fighting with back row for 10th position. Back row with his fresher soft tires winning out for now. Behind him, Sam, I believe, also on fresher medium tires, is having the advantage too. And behind them, in turn, we also have Alex, who's got fresher soft tires. So XTXP then, he might lose 2 more positions here before the end of the race. In the meanwhile, Pixon is now ahead with his old medium tires of Jesko. Impressive. We all thought the mediums were going to die towards the end of the race, but it actually looks like they have a bit of life left. But a side note here, of course, is that Jesko has a very low battery. Let's look here then. CRB is finally gotten himself rid of Reflexes because PW Jones is in between. And there he goes then, 2 in 1 sector. PW Jones in 6th place. There he is then, made up 10 positions since race start. Once again, well done to this Williams driver. The other one is approaching quickly. Look at the grip difference here between those 2 tires. Look at the Williams go. There's no chance for Reflexes whatsoever to defend that there. Wow! Glad we caught that one on camera. That was the perfect example of difference in grip. And he's already nearing the rear of CRB, who's using everything he can to stick with PW Jones, draining his battery. PW Jones having a bit more there. But he will for sure get away further and further now that his tires are still fresh. I think that's the final position he will claim unless something happens here. And look at that. Ian is in trouble. He might just lose his 2nd position as Pixon has unleashed his power there. He's going nuts. He wants that second place. We all thought Jesko was going to claim, but look at this man go. He wants to go back onto the second place where he started and when the race began. Hacko, I can't remember what Hacko did actually. He didn't stay out. He definitely switched to another tire earlier. I think he had one of those lap 1 incidents, and now he's all the way back into P8, just like Max O'Connor had one of those incidents, now up to P5. So it's going to be hard to pick a driver of the day. But I think I've got mine sorted. So then the fight for P2 between 4 drivers as Ian is with 2 laps to go, trying to close the gap still. 3.5 seconds remain. It's not going to be enough unless Ayub gets the penalty there. But Pixon, yes, he is flying. Daniel setting the fastest lap. Will be no extra point for him though, as he is in last place out of the points. The mediums do look dead, but the guys on the mediums still sure do look racy. And this guy's on the hards, and he's looking less racy than the dead mediums. So, yeah. Think what you want about that one. And there he goes then, into second place. No! Ian is braking really late, trying to go around the outside in turn 1, and somehow he manages to stay ahead. An absolutely fantastic defending there from Ian. A great attack from Pixon and a great defense from Ian. The thing is, yeah, there we go. Pixon had the DRS. He's going to have to try and go around the outside now. Ian knows, though, that this place is not an ideal place to overtake for him, but he does have the inside line in this part, and he manages to do so. Wow! Into second place then he goes, and immediately Jesko's trying to take the benefit here, trying to get past Ian. Ian, who's driven in P2 for so long ahead of the rest of the pack, is now about to lose 2 positions in one go, and he'll not be pleased with that. But there he is then, Pixon into second place. It was very close, very tight, but somehow all 3 of them kept their cars in one piece and on track, more importantly. The final lap is running, and this is that final lap. There's not going to be much position changing here anymore. Ayub has managed to keep his car in front, and he's already weaving out of happiness. He knows not much can go wrong anymore. Here he comes then, round the final corner. Starting in P5, the first winner of MRL Season 6 is Ayub Khan. Absolutely fantastic. Coming home in second is Pixon. Ian in third place, Jesko coming home in P4. They were pretty much side by side. The game couldn't even decide how close they were. That's how close it was, apparently. Max O'Connor, after a heroic drive after the safety car, into 5th position. Hacko into 6th, overtaken PW Jones, surprisingly, fallen down to P7. Back row then, not on the back row, but in P8 though. Alex in P9 and CRB rounding off the top 10 in 10th place. Wow, that was one opening race. Very, very impressive. I've put myself into the commentary booth in the Discord, and hopefully we will receive some of the guys who finish in the top 3. Definitely interested what they have to say about this race. It was definitely very interesting, very little contact. We saw several moments where it did happen, but they were few and far in between. This race was one of the cleanest I've ever seen. Enough said. And there he is, driver of the day, indeed, PW Jones. The game has picked him for making up the most positions, and I think I have to agree. For his heroic drive before his pit stop, keeping that 3rd place, and for his comeback after that pit stop, going back into P7. Well done to him. Celebrations on the podium for Ayub, and of course for Pixon and Ian. Absolutely glorious. It's time to go to the final race results. Of course, they are also necessary for the FIA if there's going to be any reports. I doubt there's going to be many. Here we are then. only 2 non-finishers. One of them, one is a lap down. Everybody else has finished within the same lap. The fastest lap goes to Daniel. No extra point for him though. He had a pretty tough day, I'm sure. All right. I'm curious. Will there be any interviews? There is one in the interview waiting room. It is the race winner himself. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to the man of the match, Ayub, from P5 to P1. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, I'd like to know your point of view from the race. Your mic is still muted, by the way. I'm not sure if you've seen that. We cannot hear you at the moment. But how do you feel? And was this the result that you expected? Your mic is, yeah, there you go. Your mic is unmuted now. Let's see if we can hear you. Yeah, just out of curiosity, how worn were they by the end? Ooh, yeah, that's a great. I just getting told by people that they cannot hear you, so that's really annoying. Ah.
Oh, that's not ideal. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be
there you
sure
go.
to
I
watch the
think
stream
they
back.
can
I'm
hear
sure
you
there's some
now.
great commentary.
Oops.
Okay,
So a
that's
quick
good.
summary of what you just said. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, the race went quite well. The start went from P5 to P3, which was pretty good. I was with the front guys, and then it was going well, saving ERS and just sitting in the DRS. But the safety car came out a bit early for the mediums, but I took a risk and I went onto them. And tire was very marginal at the end. Second, so I just saved the tires completely. Didn't try and set any good pace. And the last lap it was 75%. So I got into puncture territory on the end, but no, saving the tires in the second stint, it worked out in the end. So yeah.
Yeah, were you worried
Quite
that
happy.
Ian was going to catch you because it was getting really close near the end, but 3 seconds.
Yeah, the gap was coming down, but I kind of took that out of my mind. I was just like, until he gets into DRS, I just need to worry about the tires. I was completely focused and just trying not to get a puncture.
Yeah, so excellent. Well done to you. Do you consider
Thank
yourself
you
a
very
contender
much.
for the title this early on, or is it too early to
I
call?
think it's early to call, but that is my aim. I'd say yeah, it's very early to say, but I'm hoping at the aim to get as high a position as possible in championship. Hopefully, go for the title. Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited what you can do for the next few races. Enjoy your victory, the first of the season 6, so a special one for sure. And let's see
Yeah.
what you can do next week.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, the man in P2 is also waiting in the interview waiting room. It's Ian. First of all, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Otherwise, I've butchered it on the stream for the entire duration. But congratulations on your second place. It was quite an interesting race from your point of view, for sure. Talk us through it. Are you satisfied with this position? Did you expect more? You're muted, by the way, so make sure to unmute yourself. He's suppressed. Oh, hang on. Let me see if I can fix that.
There we go.
There we go. Excellent. All right. So
Oh, man.
you started from pole position and ended up, I said P2, but it is P3. So
Yep, and I was so close to it. I don't even know if it was so close. I was like surprised they even got it. So it could be, we'll see what it's like when you look at the replay back if the guy was in front of me at the line or not. But it was, I was really struggling by the end. I was supposed to go into the hards in the pit stop, but I accidentally accepted a new strategy which gave me the mediums, and then I just tried to make them work. But I think it was working quite well, and I think I actually probably could have caught the guy in first, but I had a little bump with PW Jones on the hairpin in sector 2, so I lost a few seconds there. But yeah, it was a good race. I was surprised that I did so well, to be honest.
Yeah, we saw you slowly catching the race leader by the end. Was there any hopes for you for winning the race?
No, no. I think it was like if he spun, maybe. I don't know what his tire deg was like. I think he was running lower downforce than me, so I was hoping that maybe his tires would go off by the end. But again, I made that little mistake. Sort of, I think it was when just after the safety car, the two of us were trying to get past the three guys who'd stayed out, and
Yep.
there was no real hope. I don't think after I made that mistake. So
Yeah, we
yeah,
saw it happening.
It's okay. It's
we s-
okay though. Like
yeah.
it's one of those things.
Yeah, we saw Ayub getting past them quite easily and you struggling a little bit there to get past them, especially with PW Jones. But still, P3 is
Yep.
P3 and it's only the first race out of 18, so still plenty of opportunities later down the line. I'm excited
Definitely.
to see what you can do in the next few ones.
Cheers, man.
Yep.
It was really fun. Enjoyed that a lot.
Yep, definitely, me too, and the viewers as well, that's for sure. Cheers.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Bye bye.
Yep. Unfortunately, Pixon is not joining us for an interview tonight. It seems he's not waiting in the interview waiting room. So that somewhat concludes the stream for tonight. And what can I say? What a race. It was a bit rusty with the issues and the mutes and the stuff. But, you know, I think that's only a minor issue compared to the epic racing we've had tonight. Absolutely beautiful. Epic racing. Loads of stuff going on. Only one safety car, 2 DNFs, only a few guys with penalties. So what can I say? Season 6 is going to be a banger for whichever tier you're watching. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. CET, which is 9 p.m. GMT, you will see tier 2 with me as well. I think I've recovered my voice already, but don't worry about it. I've got a job in which I talk a lot as well, so I'm used to something, at least with my voice. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Glad to see you enjoyed my commentary if you were. Have a great night, day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. And I wish you all a fantastic day. Good night and good day wherever. See you later.